Okay, so this vlog is about divorce. So I'm giving you that disclaimer just because I know this is a super, super sensitive and kind of touchy topic for a lot of people. And the reason why that is because 50% of marriages in the United States end in divorce. So if you are not able to hear divorce stats in our country, or my thought processes on this, just shut it off. Just don't even go there. Don't get yourself into a place where you're going to let yourself get offended or hurt or condemnation or whatever. Okay? I'm going to preface it with that. You've been warned. I don't even know why this topic has popped up in my head today. Probably because I was randomly scrolling through videos on YouTube and I came across this random story of this mom, and she was just sharing just what happened and why she ended up having to leave her husband. And it was a totally merited reason. It was an unsafe situation and it just wasn't good. But it just got me thinking, like, how common is this? The last I heard, about 50-50. 50% of marriages in the United States end in divorce, and that's Christian families and non-Christian families. So we're not choosing sides here. This is across the board. So I looked this up a little bit, and what I found was it said that 41% of first-time marriages end in divorce. 60% of second marriages, so like, you got married, got divorced, and had a second marriage, 60% of those end in divorce. 73% of third marriages end in divorce. And I'm going to go ahead and assume that number just continues to rise. Let's see, some divorce facts. In America, there is one divorce approximately every 36 seconds. So there's about 876,000 divorces every year. The average length of a marriage that ends in divorce is 8 years. So this stuff is starting to hit me kind of close to home because Steve and I have actually been married 10 years. I have friends that have been divorced. I have family that have been divorced. This is not me trying to come across as high and mighty. This is just talking about a really real thing, a really real issue and struggle that we have in our nation and really in the world, if we're going to be fair. The average age for couples going through their first divorce is 30 years old. I'm 31 years old. So technically, at this point in my life, there's a 50-50 chance that I'm going to continue being married to Steve. I'm going to choose Steve. But just having that in my head, it's sobering that that's where so many people are at. And I'm not going to say that there's not valid reasons for divorce, because the Bible very clearly lays out some very specific reasons why it is completely merited. So I'm not even going to go into that. You read the Bible and you talk to God about that on that one. I'm not here to preach necessarily about what I think about divorce and if it's right or whatever. That's personal conviction stuff, and you better hash that one out with the Lord. So let's see here. There was something else really important on here that I saw. Oh, statistics on the likelihood of a divorce. So I thought this was interesting. This is not necessarily, Bible tips or whatever. This is just stats on things that people have recorded and noticed about trends with divorce. If your parents are happily married when you grow up, basically, I assume, and they don't get divorced while you're a kid, which I'm very thankful my parents never got divorced. I'm so thankful for that. They've toughed through lots of hard times and hard seasons, but they're still married. They still very much love each other, and they work through things, and I feel very fortunate from that, because I know that that's not the case with a lot of people. If your parents are happily married, don't get divorced, your risk of divorce decreases by 14%. It's not a lot, but that is a little bit of a decrease, 14%. People who wait to marry until they are over the age of 25 are 24% less likely to get divorced. So, waiting a little longer maybe before you get married. I was 21 when I got married. Now this was interesting to me. This is kind of a little biblical swing on things. Living together prior to getting married can increase the chance of getting divorced by as much as 40%. That one blew my mind. And you know why? Because our culture tells us, well, you know, you gotta, shop before you buy kind of thing, and let's try this out and see if we can make this work, and let's just make sure, and so we just live together, and it's so common that it's almost not even questioned anymore. But this is like sciencey statistic stuff saying that the likelihood of you getting a divorce if you live together before you commit to each other with a covenant marriage, have it on paper, do it publicly in front of your family and friends, 40%. That's crazy. This was random, but if you've attended college, your risk of divorce decreases by 13%. And then divorce and children statistics. This one's hard. Now, the divorce rate among couples with children is actually 40% lower than couples without children, which that makes sense because you got more to think about than just yourselves in that situation. There's a lot to consider, a lot more to consider. 43% of children growing up in America today are being raised without their fathers. 75% of children with divorced parents live with their mother. So there's the lack of the fathers. Let's see here. Half of all American children will witness the breakup of a parent's marriage. And of these children, close to half will also see the breakup of a parent's second marriage. So there's also statistics based on states and regions, like which states have the highest divorce rate. It's first is Oklahoma, second is Arkansas, and third is Alaska. And interestingly, overall, people living in northeastern states have lower marriage and divorce rates, while those in southern states are more likely to get married. They also have higher divorce rates. And this was just a law website. Let's see, McKinleyUrban.com, something, I don't know. And it's called 32 Shocking Divorce Statistics. Well, I don't know about you, but I find all of that quite shocking and sobering, truly. So, where my heart is with that is I am going to devote the next little bit here just to be praying into this, specifically for the people that are within my sphere of influence, my close family and friends, and even neighbors, people that are close by to me, but even just for our nation in general, that just that divorce would be done away with because there will no longer be a need for the divorce. There won't be a need anymore. There won't be the unfaithfulness, the abuse, the drugs, just whatever the reasons are, and all of these are just a sign of us living in a fallen world. So my greatest prayer is, Lord, your kingdom come and your will be done, and that's going to be my biggest prayer. And I just want to encourage you to pray that with me, because I feel like the greatest hope that this next generation has is to see mothers and fathers fighting for things and showing them that they can fight through hard things too. And there is something to be said of when it's time to step away from something, if there's a safety thing. I'm not disputing that at all. But I do feel that the Lord's heart is for marriage and for it to be lifetime, for that to be a covenant thing, though also. So, yeah, that's where I'm at. And I don't know where you guys are at, but my greatest prayer is that the family unit would stay close. And so even, if my prayer for you, even if, we've already gone to this point of divorce and some separations or whatever's going on, that the Lord would bring healing into that situation so that there's still, if there can be safe connections with the family that has been separated out or whatever needs to happen, but that somehow that there would continue to be a grace over that family and that there would still somehow be able to be some connection and not like a complete disconnect from each other for the rest of forever. And if there is one that's at fault or, whatever, that they would get some serious healing in their heart, in their mind, and their bodies, whatever needs to happen, so they can get right with each other, with their children, and to get right with the Lord. So I hope you don't receive any condemnation or judgment from that, but only grace and love. And I just hope that you guys are blessed, and yeah, we'll see you next time.